Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. It's the weekend, which means one thing, Dua Fragrances is busy releasing fragrances. And of course, this one is an original creation, so I'm super excited to review it for you today. This one is called a Tabacum Affair. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my review of a Tabacum Affair by Dua Fragrances, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what I get from the smell, the longevity, the performance, comparisons, so on and so forth, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it, and also remember to leave a like down below. It would really mean a lot to me. So they actually have a lot of affairs. They have a rose affair, a powdery affair. I've actually done a video on some of them, and here we have a tobacco-based fragrance called a Tabacum Affair. So this one has tobacco leaf, tobacco absolute, but it also has a lot of other notes too, some green notes like galbanum, which is a resin. You also have fir balsam, you have oak moss, blackcurrant, you have crystal musks in the base. So it is a pretty complex note breakdown. At times it's green. It has like this agrest accord. I pick up on a little bit of lavender from it as well, which is not listed in the note breakdown, but of course sitting at the heart of the composition are two varieties of natural tobacco. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, but let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. So like the name of the fragrance implies, a Tabacum Affair, you are going to get tobacco at the heart of this composition. So you have tobacco absolute, you also have tobacco leaf, and I think I'm getting more of that tobacco leaf as opposed to the tobacco absolute. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of fragrances out there that smell very classy, and I think it's the utilization of the tobacco leaf that makes it so. So if you think of fragrances like Tabacum Millésime by Creed, it has that leafy sort of a tobacco vibe. And then of course you have some other pipe tobacco types of fragrances, Tobacco Vanille. Those types of fragrances, as much as I do love them, for some people they can be a little gimmicky. They have that cherry moistened type of a vibe about them. That's not what you're going to get here. As a matter of fact, it had a bit of a retro vibe without smelling dated or anything like that, because in terms of the quality is absolutely amazing. And so it kind of reminded me of fragrances like Rouge à Parfum Danger, Rouge à Parfum Scandal, Heritage by Guerlain, Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior, Fiero by Casa Moratti. These are the types of fragrances that this one reminded me of initially, which is the reason why I said I think I pick up on a little bit of lavender, but truly it is the patchouli, the fir balsam, the oak moss, the galbanum, all of these green ingredients that are adding to that classiness that you're also going to get from the tobacco. Now, this fragrance is not all dark. As a matter of fact, it does open up with some bright ingredients. You have the bergamot, the citron, you have this citrusy freshness in the opening. You also have a little bit of thyme, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's citrusy, it's aromatic, it's a little bit herbal, you have the tobacco, but then it dries down to something green and musky. And so probably in order, if I were to create a hierarchy of the strongest notes that I get to, I suppose, the weakest notes, I would start with the tobacco up on top, and then I get a bit of a lavender accord, and then right away it goes into this combination of the patchouli, fir, and oak moss. So it goes from tobacco to agrest to green. So just keep that in mind when deciding whether or not you should purchase this fragrance. For me, this is very elegant. This is very upscale. It has that luxurious vibe. If you are familiar with fragrances like Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior, or Scandal by Rouge à Parfum, or even Fiero by Casa Moratti, then you have a pretty good idea of what to expect from this fragrance. However, this fragrance has the inclusion of the tobacco, which you're not going to find, I think, in any of those other fragrances. I think I did a pretty good job of looking at the note breakdowns, and I don't recall seeing any tobacco in those fragrances. So this one is unique in its own right. It doesn't smell 100% similar to any other fragrance that I've tried, but in terms of the quality, It's certainly there. This is a 100 ml bottle, extrait de parfum concentration, which is what Dua always does. And I think if you can purchase this one on a weekend when they are running a promotion, you're going to get this one for a really good price. So let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find this to be a pretty unique fragrance because even though I made connections to other fragrances like Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior or Heritage by Guerlain, those fragrances are a little bit heavier on the lavender, the geranium, the carnation, thus putting them in kind of like that fougere territory. This has the tobacco, it's very green, which is why it kind of reminded me of a fragrance that might have been released in the 1980s, but it has the quality that we want from a fragrance today, right? Not the watered down 1980s releases that are nothing but a shadow of their former selves. So the quality is there, the smell is really posh, really refined, very expensive smelling. Longevity is 8+ hours. Projection was amazing for the first 2 hours of application. Didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 7 to 7.5 hour mark. In terms of the versatility, I do think this one leans a little bit masculine, but of course a confident woman can pull this one off too. I think this one can be worn all year round, but I would probably wear it in every season except for the summer. So as we happen to be entering the fall as of September 22nd, I think it's a perfect time to wear this one. And I do think that this one comes off a little bit formal as opposed to casual. Certainly there are a lot of other casual fragrances available in Dua's database. Flagship 3, which I think is the most recent one, is an amazing, bright, fresh, summery, citrusy fragrance, and it also comes across casual. This one, on the other hand, smells rather formal. In terms of the presentation, the coloration of the bottle, the gold hardware on the cap, the suede leather feel to the box, everything about it is really a step up from the typical boxes that you see on the market. So my final verdict on this one is, if you are a fan of those old school oak moss, patchouli, tobacco, lavender, refined, gentlemanly types of fragrances, I think you're gonna find something really special in a Tabacum affair. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for your time this evening. I really do appreciate it. That was my review of a Tabacum affair by Dua Fragrances. If you own or have tried this video, please let me know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you do like this type of content, and if you took something of value from this video, remember to give this video a thumbs up as well. It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you next time.